What's going on, everybody? Welcome. It is Tuesday night, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. You're watching Proper Royals live. I got Snakes for the Memories on tonight. That's Jeremy and Holly, and they've had a presence for a while now. I mean, relatively still fairly new, kind of like myself. I think our timeline is a similar timeline that we've been involved in ball pythons. Although I'm not sure, I might learn different tonight. I might find out something different. I got the chance recently to vend next to them and to meet them in person, and like, it's amazing how well you get to know somebody through YouTube or through social media and all of that. It's another thing to meet in person, and then even another layer to literally stand next to somebody for like 16, 17, 18 hours. Like you get to see and you get to meet people. And I really enjoy them. I see some ways that we're wired similarly when it comes to drive and desire. I learned some things from them, and they were kind. They saved my butt on a couple occasions. I think I knew I needed like scissors, and I don't know, maybe I needed some tape or something. I don't remember. Anyway, they helped me out. There was no mean girl nonsense or any of that kind of drama. So really cool. So tonight we're going to talk about and building blocks that we put in place for future success. As anybody who has endeavored into ball pythons knows, this is a long game. There's nothing fast about gaining success, gaining a foothold. There's no guarantee of the future. I mean, you got to wait really if you're doing really well, 3 years before you can even breed an animal that you produced. And that's if you bought breeding adults that were basically the female was already gravid when you bought it. So usually it's 4 or 5 years before you're breeding animals that you produced yourself. So just by that simple math means that it takes a long time, but to really gain a foothold and to be producing your own animals and to be sort of known for what you do. Up until then, we're kind of building thing, we're building that foundation. We're talking about the building blocks tonight. So we're going to talk about that. They put out Jeremy and Holly put out a video today, update on their business. We're going to talk about that some as well. We'll dive into that once they come on the show. And then, as always, who knows where the conversation goes. I have lots of notes, but I don't have 20 questions. This is not a 20 questions interview show. It's just random. Let's see. There it is. There's the random notes right there. Who knows which direction it'll go. I got all sorts of topics that we can cover. We'll see how it ends up. So in that way, I always tell my guests, I'd rather this show be like we're hanging out rather than some kind of interview. So thank you to the audience. Who we got in here tonight? Oh, we got Dale up in here early. Appreciate you, Dale. I saw one new face, actually, that I think I met on Instagram earlier. Oh, Creative Coralofus. I think, yeah, you're new at the show. Thank you for being here. Marshall at NoCo Exotics, NoCo Pythons, Northern Colorado. Marshall and I talked earlier this week on Instagram, and next time I make it out to Colorado at the New Belgium brewery in Fort Collins, we're gonna have a beer together. Right? I'm definitely up for that, Marshall. So it's good to talk to you. Welcome everybody else in the audience. If you've seen the show before, I'm not good at all the shout outs and all of that. I kind of brand myself as the guy that has content, so we'll get to the content, but please know that I very much value you. If you all weren't here, it would just be me screaming into a camera, which on YouTube we just call a video. So that's what makes this alive. Or I got a microphone, we could call it a podcast, right? Happy Valentine's Day, all you fools. What are you doing? You're watching a ball python podcast at 8 o'clock on Valentine's Day? Good for you. You're just like the rest of us, huh? Before you all think that I'm just a horrible husband and have no romance in my life, I'll tell you a very brief story. So I met my wife when I was playing music and she was dancing, playing tambourine. That's the God's honest truth. And we've now been married. Coming up on, this will be On Sunday, it'll be 12 years that we've been married. Matter of fact, coming up on our anniversary. So somewhere along the way when we first started dating, she knew I was a musician. I like to write songs and blah, blah, blah. And she told me in very, 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 very plain, clear terms that I should never, ever write her a love song, and if I did, if I chose to do that, I should never, ever sing it to her. So this morning, I gave her a dozen roses. I gave her a Valentine's Day card. My son and I got her dessert. She had tiramisu for breakfast in bed this morning. And there we go, on with Valentine's Day. At around noon today, she told me she wasn't feeling well. And shortly thereafter, she tested positive for COVID. So crash and burn on Valentine's Day, right? Hopefully I stay clear of it. I tested negative, but yeah, Kelly is battling COVID. So happy Valentine's Day. Thank you, all joking aside, to Jeremy and Holly for being here tonight on their Valentine's Day. This week, I got to go hang out with Shannon down at Green Dragon Brokers in Port Orange, I think it's called, right outside of Daytona off of I-4. Hung out with him, did some ultrasounding on his females, and got to see a killer collection. Holy cow, man. He has invested. The more and more people I meet, the more and more I learn and believe that every one of our resources are different. How can anybody know what's good for another person? You have no idea what they're dealing with, whether it be good or bad. Man, the snakes that guy has are incredible. Along those lines, I went up to, after that, I stopped at Biological Canvas. That is Ryan down in Palm Coast, just down I-95 from me. And I was going to say I think all. No, he had an Ultramel. Like all dreamsicles, visual, amazing dreamsicles, adult breeders, and like one or two Ultramels and a couple hatchlings. Fantastic collection. Thanks to those guys for hosting me. I had a really great time on Saturday. It's great to be able to get out and go do some filming, do some ultrasounding, spend time just building camaraderie in the community. It was really good. I enjoyed that. I worked a lot on I've decided I'm going to do Patreon, and I was going to unveil some stuff about it tonight. And then Garrick DeMeyer decided that he would steal the Patreon thunder today. So I'm going to, maybe I'll wait till next week. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about it tonight. We'll see a little bit later. I haven't published it. So if you go to Patreon, you won't see it, but it's written. It's all there. I sent it out to a few people via email to ask for their feedback on it. We'll see. There's space for 5 and it's expensive. It's $100 a month. I have to be very, very, very hands-on. So it's a really collaborative mission. We'll see if it works or not. I'm going to do other lower tiers, like a $3 or $5 tier, but I got to get a few things in place before I can pull that off. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe it'll crash and burn. We'll talk about that as far as building blocks goes today. Busy schedule coming up. I'm like I don't ever have one. This weekend coming up will be my last weekend off for 6 weeks, man. I'm going to do 6 weeks of 7 days a week between work, music, and ball python. So you can see me out on the road, Tampa Repticon on Saturday. Hey guys, I'm looking for a place to crash in Tampa. Anybody got a couch I could surf, or an Airbnb I can go in on a little bit? My usual place to crash in Tampa doesn't work for them that weekend. So anyhow, Saturday night, one night only. I'm looking for a place to crash. I'll hit the road Sunday morning. Let me know. Maybe I will come hang out. My calendar's over here. That's why I look over here. Then the Lakeland, Florida International Reptile Expo, better known as FIRE. That's March 4th and 5th. Then I'll be at the Jacksonville Repticon March 11th and 12th. The following weekend is St. Patrick's Day, my busiest weekend of the year. Thursday night, I'll be at the Stout Snug performing in Jacksonville, Florida. St. Patrick's Day itself, I'll be in Punta Gorda at the Celtic Ray at 7 p.m. And the 18th, Saturday, I'll be back at the Celtic Ray at 2 p.m. All of those shows are at least 3-hour shows. That takes us through March. That's enough of rambling on about that. Next week on the show, Sam and Phil from Powerline. Powerline Exotics, Powerline Reptiles. keep an eye on Instagram. Powerline up in North Carolina, they got killer stuff going on. They're going to be on the show. Then KMB after that, then Abe's Exotics, then Bod's Exotic Reptiles. Jeremy himself makes his return to the show. Yeah, last thought before we bring on the guests, man. The video that Holly and Jeremy put out this morning, you know, suddenly I see some people that want to. I get so tired of like the ill-willed critics. There's a difference between constructive criticism and just people being a jerk. And it made me think of a quote by an Irish poet named Brendan Behan. I'm not going to bother you with waxing philosophical about Brendan Behan, but I will tell you one of his quotes is one of my favorites. And he says, critics are like eunuchs in a harem. They know how it's done. They've seen it done every day, yet they're unable to do it themselves. Think about it. If you don't know what a eunuch is, that's EUNUCH. Go Google it. The quote will make a whole lot more sense. So when you're giving somebody feedback, ask yourself, are you doing it constructively or are you just being a eunuch in a harem? All right, enough of my grumpiness. I feel like I've become the middle-aged podcaster here. Jeremy and Holly, thanks for the memories from South Florida. I think Okeechobee, but certainly around the Lake Okeechobee area. Please welcome for the very, very first time, I hope not the last time, to the Proper Royals stage, Jeremy and Holly and Jeremy. Boom, what's going on, guys?
How's it going? How's it going? Good here.
And
good.
Yes, Okeechobee.
Yep, Okeechobee.
Okeechobee. Okay, see, because like if you're not from that central South Florida area, everything is just the lake. So it's all Okeechobee. Like I'm just like, yeah, north, because like north to south is like an hour and a half to get around the lake, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I'm like, it's all Okeechobee. I don't know. But I know that's not the case. So Okeechobee. Hey, welcome to the show. For people that don't know who you are, why don't you just take a moment and introduce yourselves and give us the brief history. We don't need to make the whole show about how'd you get into reptiles, but give us the brief history.
Okay, I'm Holly. He's Jeremy, so Jolly.
Yep. We started in 2021, so 2 years ago, April 21. So we're almost at the 2-year mark of keeping and breeding ball pythons. And
right now we're just doing ball pythons.
Yeah.
But
focus on ball pythons. Have a lot of empty spacing for pickups.
room for growth.
Yes.
Yeah. So hit us with like some, I mean, if you want, hit us with some stats. And I was going to say like not the flex or whatever, but you guys have killer stuff anyway. But like just for, if today's about the building blocks, give us the stats and the context of what we're going to be talking about here. In your world.
You just nudge me. So would you like to know like equipment wise or how would you?
How many snakes? So you how many like holdbacks? How many for sale? What's your total?
15 for sale.
Okay.
Holdback wise, I want to say we're at 6. I just got new racks, so they're blocking my old racks, so everything's all jumbled right now. And male to female ratio, I want to say I have 10 males to 60 females.
60.
Yeah.
60. Yeah.
60, yeah.
So you're looking at just quick math here. You're looking at like, you're right at 100 animals, man. You're like at 90 animals in there, huh?
Yeah.
It's not too shabby.
Not too shabby. We want to add a few more.
Yeah. So you have 60 breeder females.
For the most part, they're all pushing that 1,000-gram mark. 20 of them are actually building follicles. So the other 40 are
on the cusp.
They might start building later this year or they'll go next year.
And how many clutches did you get this previous year?
5. We did 5 clutches. Yeah.
We're snowballing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like we're really, really similar. I don't have 60 females. I might.
You don't think about it, do you? It's like, oh.
Well, yeah, exactly. Not until somebody puts me on the spot. But I do have 20 that I've paired this year that I could pair. I've actually got 2 that I'm not sure if I'm going to pair or not. just because I don't know what I would do with the offspring, which is probably something we'll talk about today. Like, is that worth pairing or not? I think most people would say no. But yeah, my goal, but my kind of my 2-year planning vision is to have 55 breeding females. So 55 being my number because that's the number of tubs that I have that will handle them. And what I spent a lot of money last year on infrastructure, and I don't want to this year. So
yeah,
55 is the number. I got to choose 55 bad girls that are gonna have a home here and make beautiful babies. So and then kind of like you, I've got the grow outs, some holdbacks, some inventory for sale, hatchlings, all that. And I had 6 clutches last year, so like really similar progression on that.
I want to say there were 6 clutches, but one was just all slugs.
Bad.
So I just don't count that one.
Yeah.
Like it was.
Yeah, you just want to forget about that.
Yeah.
It was 9 slugs. Like moving on, but yeah, 5 is what we for sure.
Look at Jeremy Bod. He's like the grandfather. Only pair if you care. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think, Jeremy.
Pairing is caring.
Pairing is caring. Only if you're a good pairer. That's right. And a good pairer would be a good carer. And then what about what are some of your favorite projects that you're working on? What kind of clutches did you don't have to go through every clutch, but like in general, what were you working on? What are you excited about working on?
This year I get to use my Super Asphalt male. So I'm super excited to put him to a few different girls. Because I bought him a few months after we started. He was a Super Asphalt Fire and Cheap Pastel male. So I'm so excited to finally use him. But I also have hopefully making my own DGs this year. Because again, I started with the visual males, het females. That's how I started. So hoping to make my visuals this year and probably pick up a couple visuals also for everything.
Not to jump to conclusions, but if you've been at this less than 2 years and you got 60 females that are either breeding or on the cusp of breeding, then you're talking about Super Asphalts and DGs. You've thrown some money at this whole enterprise, and I don't say that with any judgment one way or another, because again, we all have different resources and different abilities at our fingertips.
Yeah, we're all in.
Yeah,
that's some firepower. What's your timeline on when you need? I hate putting a question like this because there's no right answer, but like in your own mind, what's your goal on like where you have to start seeing a return or start seeing cash flow? Because we'll talk more about it, but go ahead.
Yeah. So
this year I'd like to see some.
This year would be a great start. So we have some things in the work maybe, and so it should have a good
flow coming in.
Yeah. It should
start to see some ROI.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, everybody has opinions on this too. So I would say I don't care. I do care. I care about your opinion. I don't care about all the other opinions. What's the plan if you see that, like you say, that ROI, that cash flow? Does that come back and go back into the coffers and you work with what you got for a while, or does that get put into snakes where you keep upping and upgrading? What's the vision there, or a little bit of both?
I would say a little bit of both.
A little bit of both, but definitely upgrading.
Yes.
Definitely adding more. Definitely.
Still pedal down, still going.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Picking up more, not just holding back, and like, because you could grow by holding back, or you could grow by. I think I even did a video called like hold back or buy forward. So you could grow both ways, but you're talking about reinvesting that money. So
yes,
your proof of concept, but not really take it back into the coffers to replenish your pocket money.
Yeah, not yet.
So what I was going to say earlier that we could talk more about, in my mind, there's kind of two far ends of the spectrum, and then all of us fall somewhere in the middle. And sorry, just to clarify, do you envision this in your own definition, in your own mind, as a hobby or a business?
Business.
Okay.
Yeah, it's always been the like I love ball pythons. I love reptiles. Don't give me like, it's not about money or anything, but our focus was always when we started was, hey, I want to make this a business. I want to stay home. I want to be around the kids and everybody 24/7. So,
and you just hit the 1 year. It's been 1 year that I said you need to retire.
Yeah, I haven't worked in a year technically, like at a real job, because she had
like
me
a year
come
ago
home.
today. I flew out and was like, you need to stay, and I'm gonna go, and you just watch the snakes and the kids. And
I feel like saying congratulations. Is that a congratulatory thing?
Oh yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it's good
nice.
all the way around.
Yeah,
cool. For my own motivation, I'm looking at my calendar. Today's the 14th. It has been 45 days since I have clocked in for a job for anybody not named Adam Shira. I'm pretty pumped about that.
That's
so,
nice.
yeah, it's scary, and I'm still getting used to it, and I have to hold on to things because I fidget when I talk about it. But that's what I'm doing. That's what the reality is. Okay, so this whole spectrum thing I was going to talk about. On the one end of the spectrum is, let's dump a whole bunch of money straight at the front end of it. And I'm not going to ask you specifics, but off the top of my head, not even necessarily about you. If somebody drops 75 grand into something to build it, in my mind, the way that my mind works is you owe that money back to yourself. You had it, now you don't. You probably want to get that money back at some point. The other way is, all right, buy a little, make a little, reinvest it, so that initial little bit out of pocket isn't that much, but you can't make as big chunks as somebody that dumps the 75 in it. And I still haven't figured out where the race to the top is. And I don't mean the race to produce the best animals. I mean the race to the financial top. Like, who wins that is what I can't figure that out. I mean, time will tell, and I've seen people do it both ways. But it sounds like yours was a larger down payment, and you've got it. You're working to earn that back for yourselves now.
Yeah. First off, like at the beginning, we focus on buying snakes over racks. Like Holly just got these racks November so a couple months ago. We just finally got like real racks. We were working with PVC
DIY
and then melamine racks. So I made my own racks. So
yeah, that's what we did. I get it. That's still what Kai does. I think he's in the audience too. It's awesome what he does.
Yeah. So we started with investing in the snakes, and now it's kind of this year was getting rid of all the DIY aspects of it. So like we bought like the Wilbanks incubator, we bought sea serpents, hatchling racks, and then so that's going to get rid of all of like the DIY stuff of our business. For the moment,
infrastructure is like covered.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that a PVC rack I still see back there behind the white one back there?
White one is melamine. That's my old one that I just got my Freedom Breeder tubs. Well, some of my Freedom Breeder tubs today for the sea serpents racks.
So it's for sale if anybody wants one.
Yeah, that white one's going to be going.
Well, I was going to say, if you got a PVC hatchling rack, you might come talk to your boy in Tampa here, and let's see what we can work out.
I got a PVC like combo rack that I'm gonna be letting go. It's I want to say a 6 level, so 4 of like the 16 quarts, and then 4 of the 28 quarts or 32 quarts, something like that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I mean, if it'll hold the small, if it'll hold the small tubs and you have them, I'd be interested.
Okay.
And there's a picture of it on Instagram, so just if that's what you're looking for.
We'll chat later.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we'll do. Because I think I'm fine, but if I can't say that confidently, it probably means I'm not. So it's timing. I could be in a jam depending on the hatch schedule and when they lay. And right now, all their follicles are within like 5 millimeters of each other. And I'm like, no, just spread out just a little, and I'm fine, you know?
Yeah.
So we'll see about that. So what was the goal? Like what was the moment or why, I hate to put you on the spot, but why did you say what was wrong with the DIY racks? And you're talking to somebody who I've liquidated my DIY racks as well. What was wrong, or what's the benefit? Like, let me play devil's advocate and say, hey, if the snakes stay in the tub and it's heated, why are you spending? I mean, I see the racks behind you. Is that $6,000, $5,000 of racks behind you? Like, why spend that money?
7.
Okay.
They're
Because we got extra
13 high.
levels. Yeah.
So they go almost all the way up to the ceiling in my garage. I have a 9-foot, 10-foot ceiling in my garage, so they go high. But
there's a couple different things. Humidity. Also, Jeremy's not very good at building stuff.
I'm not good at building stuff.
So some of the tubs were more snug than the others.
Yes.
Gotcha. Well, that goes back to like, I think that everybody has like a superpower, and then there's all the rest of the stuff that we're not good at. And sometimes that's identifying that. All right. So building, okay, that's hard.
Quality of it. They look nicer.
And also it was nice to learn that the feed rate, they eat like crazy now. It's helped a lot. Like they eat.
Like, honestly, it's like 99 to 100%.
Yeah.
I've had like one girl not feed since I bought these racks. Just one day, just not feed. But yeah.
Do you think were you using like clear or opaque racks or tubs versus the dark ones?
Yeah, they were clear tubs. So like just regular Sterilite tubs, because that's but as soon as they went into here,
now their feed response is wild.
They literally lunge. Like if I had rats in here right now and I went to open up them, they are jumping out of those tubs. I've never seen them eat act like that with my DIY racks.
Yeah.
Wow. I've not heard that differentiation when it comes to upgrading rack systems. And I'll admit I'm a little bit of it's sort of like a badge of pride because people give me such a hard time about using frozen thawed rats. Just breed rats, Adam, breed rats. I'm not going to breed rats. So, but mine only at night. Like daytime, when I clean in the daytime, they don't lunge out. Night, boom, they're on it. So those are good. And again, it was from a building block standpoint of what improved with it. I think it's probably, I wouldn't call it an investment. Like a typical investment, you want to multiply X number of times over X number of amount of time. I don't know that the racks will increase in value, but used ARS and Freedom Breeder racks go for just about what the new ones go for. Because
they're like a couple $100. There was just a couple, was it 5540 hybrid for sale? It was on one like the Facebook groups.
Yeah,
and it was $2,500. Like they're brand new for $2,500, but then like it was legitimately the same price. I was like,
yeah. Did you repost that? Was it you that I saw that reposted that? I thought you had like a 50.
I was going to be putting one of mine up for sale because I some business opportunities that came up, but I was like, no, I'm going to need that space. Why sell it? So I took that down because I was like, ooh, if I sell this, I can get this. But then it was like, Holly's like, well, it's already paid for.
There's secret project space. Brewing.
Yeah, there's some yeah.
There's something
okay, so you don't have to let the cat out of the bag, but there are times you take the foot off the pedal. So I'll tell you what, actually that brought to mind, like the price of snakes has dropped over. We've all seen it. It's no secret the past year and change, but particularly in the past 6 months. Not the price of racks. Like
right.
Every rack I click, I love a deal. Like I'm always, how can I find a deal? How can I make a buck? What can I do here, there? And I'm always like, yes, there's an ARS rack. Let me see what deal it is. I'm like, it's the same price as buying it new. What is that? And they're gone. They sell because they're a pain to assemble. So they sell too.
Oh, don't even talk about pains, man. Oh, my headaches. Oh.
But once we got down to it, though, I mean, we were cruising because you're building the same thing over and over.
Yeah. I was joking with somebody. If you're going to build one, just buy 3. Because by the time you build the one, like you're like, I got this. Now it's easy. But by the time you got to build another one, you're going to have to relearn how to do it all over again. I remember building mine. I had Jeremy bought on like speakerphone. I'm like, what is all of this? Like, what is this? So, all right, then back up for a minute. As much as I say this isn't a what got you into it question, if you're going to drop a sizable amount of money, which you have, what was that moment that you were like, okay, this is it. It's not going to be, we're not going to open our own restaurant. We're not going to buy a food truck. We're not going to open a, we're not going to buy a car lift and open a garage. It's going to be ball pythons, and we're going to put a ton of money in it. What was that moment? Where did that come from? What's the origin story?
I can just like kind of blame like watching like Billy's YouTubes
and just watching YouTube,
YouTubes in general, like just the passion and like everybody like I love these, like
He's
don't get
always
me wrong,
loved ball pythons.
but like everybody else's passion watching them, like it's like, oh my God, I love that feeling. And
then I was like, if we're gonna do it right, and we're gonna go all in.
And we don't have a medium setting. It's 100% or nothing.
Yeah,
that's how it's like full go. You know, overdo it. You know, buy for the future and
big picture.
Yeah,
let's go.
that's kind of why we bought 2 racks. Like technically, all these snakes will fit in this one rack, and I still have an empty level, but it was too high. And instead of me, because I have to get out a step stool because it's up there. So I'm like, I'm just gonna lower these down until I get more snakes. But yeah, it's
and it kind of revolves around my work too. It's like, okay, we got the money right now, let's go for it.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring that up a little bit later too. There's like a secret weapon, not secret. There's a value to within a couple or within a household, one person having I call it a W-2 job, and then the other person having a business. There's like this secret. Well, I'll just tell everybody because I always resent it when I think nobody teaches us this. The losses from the business can offset the W-2 person's taxes.
Tax write-off right there.
Yeah. Like if you're
bought it in November.
Yes.
Yeah. If you're above, like there's a plateau you got to get to. You got to be able to pay your bills. You got to be able to eat. You got to be able to look after your kids. My opinion is you got to be able to save a little bit for the future. But if that's in the form of ball pythons, that's somebody else's choice. But once you hit that stage, if one person can check out and pursue a business, that's the time to do it. That's the time to find out and then to prove all that, because you got the safety net of the other job, but you get the tax benefits of it. It's unreal. Nobody teaches you that when you're 19. Like somebody should have written that in my wedding card. You know what I mean? They don't tell us this.
Yep.
Sorry, I get riled up. Like it feels like I've always said I just want a level playing field, and that is something that I felt has never been fully fairly explained to the general population, mostly myself. Yeah, Marshall says plus the benefits of the W-2 job. Yeah. Yeah, Bold Coast up in Maine. Yeah, I have a construction company. My wife's a nurse. She claims 0 with my write-offs. It often works out real well. All of you, get a CPA. This is not official advice. Get your own tax pro. But seriously, it is 100% legal that if you are legitimately endeavoring to pursue a business, you have startup costs and you have startup expenses. And it's another reason why people should go legit with their ball pythons if they truly want to make it a business in the future, because you get the benefit of the write-offs early. What are you going to wait till you're making 5 figures and to go legit and then start paying taxes? What's wrong with people? Like, take the write-offs early. Oh man. Again, find a tax professional. I've not done my own taxes in 20
Disclaimer.
Last year I did our own taxes. I was like, this is the last time, because it was when we had we started buying things for the business and her job was taking off, and it was like, okay, this is the last year. And so this year we're getting actually somebody to do our taxes, because I ain't messing these up.
Yeah. It's a lot.
No, get somebody. Plus they're going to find stuff like
Exactly.
In my opinion, you're their customer. They have a service to provide for you, and it needs to be legitimate, ethical, moral, all that stuff. But they should serve you. And in that capacity, how they serve you is putting more money in your pocket or keeping wealth in your asset column is my estimation of it.
Yeah. I work from home too, so I know there's a percentage of my mortgage, of my electric, internet, everything. So yeah.
Absolutely. And if you have 2 of those things, the square footage of your snake facility.
Exactly.
That I don't want to turn this into a tax show.
Right.
Well, in one way, it's really good to do, but in another way, I'm talking in vague terms, and I'm sure there's 50 different laws for 50 different states. Florida doesn't have an income tax, so we get a pass on that. But you got to check with your local laws. Well, that's another reason. Just get a professional. Like, there's nothing wrong with getting a professional, But But yeah, anybody out there making revenue that wants to do this for more than a couple years, like start claiming your revenue so that you can claim your expenses, and your expenses are allowed to be bigger than your revenue. Like, there you go. You got to feed yourself. You got to keep the lights on. But after that, there you go. Bold Coast. I'd rather pay a good CPA than the IRS. That's the other part. Your CPA is tax deductible. Who are you going to give the money to? Well, hell, you may as well give it to the other small business entrepreneur, right? There we go. All right. Enough of my rants on that. So you guys, you go, and I said earlier in the intro, I saw a few things where you all were in each in your own way wired like me in some unique ways. And one of them is that trait, and I think most successful entrepreneurs have it, that 0 or 100. There's not really a middle ground. And when the world's telling us we're wrong, we're charging ahead. It doesn't mean we're always successful. Doesn't mean that we're going to be successful. There's plenty of failure stories out there. But I don't know any really successful entrepreneur that was like, well, I tiptoed in, I went slow, I let things happen, they kind of came my way, and poof, I'm a millionaire. Like, I've never heard that story, right? It doesn't mean go with reckless abandon, and I'm pretty conservative as far as like risk tolerance goes. But even within my own realm, like, I go hard. I go 100. I go where I can. And like, one thing I noticed, it was no pun intended. It was almost like a standoff. Me and Jeremy stood for 16 hours. There was no sitting down. There was no complacency. There was nobody within 20 feet of us at 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. We're both ready. We're at our post. We're ready to go.
Displays, everything's still out, lights on, like, yeah, buy something. Go ahead.
That's right. I'm ready. I'm open for business, and it was really cool. And like, there's like a knowing look in somebody else's eyes that's like, I don't know what parts, not necessarily equal parts, but part confidence and part absolute effing terror. And it's got to work. And like, that's what gives us the it's got to work drive, right? Like if we were already billionaires, we wouldn't care. Well, okay, this will be fun. We make something, we lose something.
Yeah.
There's not a bit of that in you guys. And that I got to see that firsthand. I think we all put a little bit of a persona into the camera, in front of the camera. I mean, that's part of the gig, right? I saw it and I was like, yeah, I get it now. They're in it. There's good things are going to happen here. And I believe that. And I didn't, that's hard to tell somebody face to face because it can be a little patronizing, and I don't mean it to be, but plus we were busy, and then we both packed up like bats out of hell. We were gone too. So
drive home.
Yeah, it's a grind. We had to get, we worked all weekend. Monday's coming around. We got other jobs. We got kids. I mean, you had your kids with you.
Those kids.
Good time.
Well, I didn't, but I had Kelly and Charlie at home fending for themselves. And in Kelly's mind, she's going, this guy just flies the coop every weekend to go sell snakes, so it's a give and take. It's fine. I've done with music for all these years too, so no big deal. But but that's kind of what I saw, and that I agree. I think that 0 to 100 is out there for, or is that trait that I see in entrepreneurs. So what are some, as far as building blocks you all have had, and I'll let y'all talk kind of freely on this as much as you want to or not. You all have had a variety of things that you've tried and evolved from and gone away from. Talk to us about some of those things and how that works for somebody starting out, specifically in ball pythons, but maybe just business in general. Like, I think you all have tried a whole lot of things, and I love that about you.
Oh, we've tried breeding rats. That wasn't too fun.
So that didn't, wait a minute. So that one wasn't even on my radar. What happened with the rats?
So I think the final straw was, I don't know how, a rat got out of the tub, no holes or anything, and it was in my living room. And my youngest, Corbin, he was like, Dad, there's a mouse. I'm like, no, there's not. Just stop. And then he went to go walk to the bathroom. He's like, there is. Like, he came screaming out in the garage because I was like messing with the snakes and stuff. So I go inside and he's like, there is. It was over here. And I start moving the couch. I'm like, there's nothing here. He's like, okay, it was over here. Then he walks to the bathroom and then the light turns on because I have a motion sensor light in there for him because he can't reach the light switch.
Yeah.
And he's like, there it is. It's a big old rat just sitting in my bathroom. So that was probably the final straw of me trying to breed rats in my house.
The chew through.
And so, okay, so fast forward, the rats are gone is what I'm reading, the writing on the wall. Now, yeah. So are you back to sourcing rats? Did you partner with somebody else? Did they deal with the rats? What do you do?
Florida Rattery down here in Indiantown, Chris Davenport.
Yeah.
That's where I get all my rats from.
It's only like 30 minutes away.
So I get the cocoa and the rats. And he's super close, which is way convenient. Yeah.
And does it, my problem and most other people's complaints with when I say that I don't breed my own and I won't, is the cost and the overhead. So how have you managed to chip away at that? Have you not started to chip away at that overhead? Does it bother you? What's the mindset on it? Screw it, just sell more snakes is the answer, or what works for you?
I work my butt off and it's fine.
But yeah, and it's an expense. You know what I mean? Like, hey, boxes for shipping are an expense. You have the snakes. Eventually, yes. Once we upgrade some things and start producing better quality animals, more animals, and start selling more, then obviously that's going to start chipping away at that. But right now, we knew it's going to be a uphill battle at first. First couple of years,
yeah,
definitely all out of pocket. Don't expect to make a dime type thing. So it's just part of that game plan.
Just like I expect to spend money on groceries and the electric, and it's just like a cost of living with snakes.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think that's talked enough about. Like, so when you own your own business, not 100%, but generally, if you have your own business, you have your revenue in, then you have your expenses, and then you pay tax on what's left over. And most people say that that's what you made. Whereas if you have a job, people go, how much do you make? And you tell them your salary before you buy a car, before you buy groceries, before you buy clothes, before you take your kids to, whatever you guys do or anybody does. And it seems like this uneven scale. So I'm like, well, if I make $1, I'm successful. Really, if I cover everything I need, if I grow my assets, I improve my breeders and all of that, I check all the boxes, my family's fed, the mortgage is good, and I didn't go into debt.
Right.
Exactly.
I'll take $1. That's fine. But it's hard for us to get our heads around it. But I always chuckle at, if it's a business, somebody wants to know, well, how much were you profitable? And I want to be like, well, were you profitable in your life? Did you do a cash flow analysis? Did you see if your debt is higher or lower than last year? What's your asset column look like? And it's like, hang on, let's keep this even here. So I think we can't get lost in like what people make. There was a guy I was talking to at one of the shows one time, and he put it really well. He said, you don't have to be rich. You just need positive cash flow. And I was like, I don't know about that. And I got thinking about it. I was like, oh, he's exactly right. As long as you got positive cash flow, you can constantly be buying business expenses to make things better for future investments. And if you're doing that with all your cash flow, you don't have taxable income because those are all unrealized gains from the expenses.
Yes.
What? Yeah. Seriously, I spent 23 of my 27 years working in restaurants, thinking, just keep working your butt off, keep saving, keep going, and you pay your tax, and it just goes out the door. Like, it's just gone versus the various amazing opportunities that come with business. So I'm excited about it. Okay, so rats didn't work. What were some other aha moments? You're allowed to say things that did work. Like, this isn't just a confessional woe is me, this all sucks, here's what not to do.
Like something that
things into place, not taking them away.
something that did work was getting the ultrasound early on.
Yes.
That really
Cool.
helped.
Great.
That was also like one of our first. So it went. We bought some snakes, and then we were like in Billy's Patreon type thing, and it was like we basically took out a loan for snakes. So it was like, why don't we just a little bit more and get an ultrasound? And so we did, and literally when we got that ultrasound, we opened it up. I started ultrasounding females, and one girl was at like 27 millimeters on this. So like. Within like 6 months of us buying our first snake, you're
already like, boom, that was the one, right?
Yeah.
It was like, oh, well, I guess we had some super pastels and some pastel yellow bellies.
It just takes the guesswork out of it. So I don't.
It's well worth it. It's
good to get early on.
Yeah. Now I've heard some people say, and I'm new to the ultrasound game, so I still kind of have one foot in either camp. I've heard some people say like that less and less, but I've heard some people say it caused them to make bad decisions, or that they weren't as good with the ultrasound as they thought, so they weren't making the decisions based on accurate info or things like that. Have you had any misses on it, or things that you're like, man, what happened, or I shouldn't have done it that way, or felt like it cost you a clutch or anything?
No. Let's see. Like, I guess learning to ultrasound, like I've had it for about a year, a little over a year. So I'm still pretty new to ultrasound. Like I can find them pretty quick.
Right.
But like when like they're shedding, obviously you don't want to ultrasound. You can, like I've found follicles, but when they're too far along in the shed, it creates an air gap, that dead skin and the new scales, you know what I mean? So you can't really see eggs. So sometimes you won't be able to tell. And sometimes I get frustrated. I'll be ultrasound. I'm like, I don't see anything. But last time I ultrasounded, she was at like 15. But other than that, it's just still learning and figuring out.
Straight out the gate, as soon as we pulled out of the box, we had no idea what we were doing, but we're still able to find follicles on the first snake. So
I'll say I had one buddy, Jesse from Jesse Music, Musical Python, excuse me. He came up and ultrasounded, and of course I was working the freeze button because if you don't get the pedal, you need two people.
Need it, yes.
That's what I do. I have my foot on the pedal.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to learn how to work the foot pedal. But so Jesse ultrasounded mine with me once, and then I got my own. And you're right out of the gate, you can go. Now I knew which ones had them. I was like, no, 3 weeks ago that was a 12. So I'm doing this until I find it, kind of thing.
But that's how you learn. You know it's there, so you know what to look for. So you can that's how you practice. When you know what you have, that's like when I was learning to pop and probe. Like, I probed first because I was like, okay, hey, this is a male, this is a female, because it's easy. Then I started popping them. It's like, okay, I'm pressing right. I'm getting a female, I'm getting a male. So it's just that practice, and knowing what you have makes practicing easier, I guess. Having the answer makes practicing easier. Yeah.
I don't know what made me think about it. I saw Jessica Bilka's interview with Mike from Herp Collectors in the past week or so, and Justin said, "Yeah, I'm really confident in the genetic testing." And Mike was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool. Why?" He's like, "Well, I sent off a bunch of hets that I knew what they were, and I got them tested. I knew what the answer was. I wanted to see if they gave me the right answer or not."
Who's testing who?
What's that?
Like, who's testing who? He was testing.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And but he said, but I mean, and I thought that was really insightful of Justin. Like, he's got the money, and somebody was like, "Yeah, but you didn't pay for him." He's like, "Yes, I did. I paid for every one of them." I was like, "Good for you, man. Like, support the company, but also, trust but verify kind of thing." But that kind of work helps the rest of us gain confidence too. But yeah, he said I want to say something like 20 or 30 that he said he had sent off that he knew what they were, and he said they all came back properly. So that is a good way to test. Talk to us about the YouTube journey. I've seen you all try various things and land at various points. You even put out a video today. Like hit us with that story journey, whatever words we're using these days.
So we've been doing YouTube for a little over a year, and it's just that focus of like and stress of like making sure because I was doing YouTube Tuesdays and Thursdays every week. And just trying to do that was just really stressful. I'll be honest with you. Like I stopped even watching people's YouTubes because one, I didn't want to like steal somebody's idea or something like that. Like I tried to come up with my own stuff and
you're a slave to the algorithm.
Yeah, slave to the algorithm. And then it's like, I don't want to watch your YouTube because it's like, not you, but like YouTube channels, like videos. So it's like, I'm just like, don't want to be with YouTube right now. Like I'm focused on trying to make YouTube all day. And
yeah, like a chef that doesn't want to come home and then cook food.
Oh,
or
yeah.
Another given profession that I don't know. I'm not going to say it.
You know, what's funny. If I'm cooking for my family, I cook like crazy. When they're out of town, I don't cook anything. It's ramen noodles and McDonald's. Like I'm a much better person because of my family. Because left to my own devices, absolutely not. I'm a horrible slob. Yeah.
Yeah. So we just, I don't know. We just,
and the focus on, again, we have thing possibly coming. That focus is going to be way more intensive. And
yeah, I want him to focus more on our business and growing our business instead of trying to think of what kind of content are we going to hurry up and put up because we have to put up something because we have to do it every Tuesday and Thursday or the algorithm's going to hate us. And it's just like, what content do we have? Like, let's do another like ultrasound video, even though we've already done like 3 of them. And it's just, we want to put out quality content. So when we do release a video, whenever we do, it will be quality content.
Not forced.
And like, yeah.
So let me ask you this. What was, and maybe you didn't know, maybe you've only now arrived at it. What was your purpose doing YouTube in the first place?
Basically I liked doing it, but getting our name out there, trying to just, again, the only way people are going to figure you out or trust you, having a YouTube channel, I feel is like a better option than buying a snake from somebody that you don't know. Because again, we invested pretty heavily in snakes. So, and this year making pricier snakes, like who's going to want to buy a $3,000, $5,000 animal from somebody you don't know, never seen their face, and you're just going to go off a whim. But, I feel like Instagram's good, but like this was like kind of more of a connection because, you talk to your audience, you figure out what they kind of like. And because we were doing the lives also. So it was just like a combination of it.
So do you think you accomplished that?
I feel like we were like butter, like Lord of the Rings quote here, like butter, like spread over too much bread. We weren't like applying ourselves to, we're just doing like a little bit on YouTube and on Instagram. Let's go all in on one. Let's go all in on Instagram. Let's do all of we can do lives on there. We can put content up on there. We're going to see people's faces at the shows instead of just a little bit here and there. That's kind of like half butting it.
Yeah. I think on PG you get like one ass. I'm not sure, but I might have just used
it.
You see how I did that? I just.
But no, accomplished it. I do honestly. We went to Daytona last year. Was that like the first time I went to Daytona? And people were like, "Hey, thanks for memories. What's up?"
Yeah, even at the show, people recognized us. But I feel like we have a bigger following on Instagram.
I wasn't teeing you guys up to say that no, you failed. Of course you did it. That's you accomplished that was my point in asking you. So like if that phase of the experience is done, then I don't think there's anything wrong with what you just defined. Like I think, and I'm no marketing expert, but in my now I have some experience. I can say this. In my experience, like I think pumping out content on YouTube is absolutely great to start with. Once you learn how to edit, once you learn how to get your name out there, once you learn kind of who and what you want to be, then you should just focus on being who and what you want to be. You gained the skills that you needed. You don't need to put out crap just to put it out anymore. Like you got the back end stuff now. So like I think that's where you would pivot to what you hear so many people on YouTube saying, put out less content that's better, and you're going to get a higher level of engagement. You're going to come across as more established experts, and the words that you do have are going to be more valuable when you put them out there. I didn't see anything wrong with this. And for those in the audience, this announcement was made this morning, which which was great because I was like, boom, show prep. Here we go.
I was like, oh God, we're putting this out, and I'm just gonna cancel that live. Like, oh, no, you're done.
They're not relevant anymore.
No way, no way. And I didn't. You know what? I thought, just not that you asked for my opinion, but I thought that the spin easily could have been. We've accomplished that other stuff. To your point, how many ultrasound videos do you need from me? We're going to put out, which you did. You said when we have content, it's going to be epic. It's going to be fantastic. And we're going to get on to making snakes and making amazing snakes because that's what we set out to do in the first place. Like, I thought it was great. I know you played up the drama nice. So you even had the background music. He
was so excited when he found that song. He was like, he ran in the room. He's like, listen to this, listen to this. And I listened to it. And I could like barely hear it. It's like a violin. I'm like, what? Like, is it gonna hit? He's like, no. It's gonna be underlaying under the whole video. I'm like,
nice
okay.
Little... Yeah, because I started editing videos when I quit my job.
Drama queen.
I was like, yeah, let's do this. So
you're like, I was really inspired by Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Let's get that soundtrack in the background here.
Love that movie.
Great, right?
Yes.
Phenomenal.
I want to go watch it right now. I own it. I'm going to.
To be our bedtime movie now. Yep. Thanks.
That's awkward on Valentine's Day. You're like, what are you guys off to? Oh, we're going to pop
some sorrow.
Yeah, give me John Goodman smashing a toad every time.
I love it. We thought you was a toad.
Toad. Yeah, Squirrel Everett. No, it's one of the few. I really don't want. I don't think I've watched a movie from start to finish in 10 years. I don't know, not long. Like I can't sit still. I mean, I can stand for 8 hours, but watch a movie for 2 or 3, no way. But I love the Coen Brothers films, and I bet I've seen Oh Brother, Where Art Thou 20 or 30 times, and I bet I've seen The Big Lebowski 100 times. Legit,
never seen
100 times. Well, okay. Now you know how I feel when people are like, "You've never seen The Matrix?" I'm like, "Nope." Titanic, not once. Lord of the Rings, never.
What?
Yeah, that's what I like to hear.
I don't know what you're talking about. I really don't. That's all completely true. Not a one of them.
Harry Potter's amazing. No, I'm just kidding.
Never saw it. Not a one. I don't know.
Oh my God. I'm just kidding. It's okay.
Well, no. When people are like, Adam, how do you do all that stuff? I don't watch that other crap, man. I'm busy. I'm producing, man.
Exactly.
I'm lying to myself, but I don't. I truly haven't seen those movies. But Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I have seen. I think it's amazing.
Star Wars. You've seen Star Wars though?
You seen Star Wars?
Yes.
Disappointed in that one.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't really understand what's going on in it. And then if you were like, what would be a really, really basic Star Wars? Probably like, what are the Ewoks in? I know they're not in the first one. Other than that, I don't know. But one of the next two.
I'm just happy you know what an Ewok is.
They're the cute little teddy bear things. Yeah, on the hoverboard.
They are cute. They're cute.
Yeah, lasers, hoverboards, and Ewoks. They sit on. They're like jet skis, hoverboard jet skis through the woods, right?
I love it.
Endor.
Endor?
Nothing.
I don't know. This is how my wife feels when I'm like, no. It's a het candy double visual. She's like,
midichlorians.
Yeah. Watch skis. I don't know what's going on. It's all the same. Hey, we got 51 people watching. I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat tonight. It's been very busy. We're not going anywhere. I just got to pay some bills. Yeah, Jeremy says the force isn't very strong without him. The farce, however, I've been accused of having very high levels of. I got to say, huge thanks to Redline Shipping and Cold Blooded Cafe. They've been fantastic sponsors to me. And I did business with both of them before I ever, I was a customer before I ever did business with them. Cold Blooded Cafe, I get all my frozen thawed rodents from them. And I know it's really weird to say, but my history in food prep and sanitation and healthy preparation of food is giving me great confidence in what they do at Cold Blooded Cafe. Check them out. Redline Shipping, man. Like, I just have become more and more excited about Redline Shipping, and I am susceptible to being buttered up. And today, Today they just were like, "Hey, here's a bunch of our stuff that you could get excited about. I got some cool forceps, bright red that they sell. Not locking. The trick to feeding rodents with forceps is not the locking, because if they lock and the snake takes it, you'll skin the rodent, and it's really not good. Some cool scissors. Suitcase tag. How cool is that? Shipping stickers, which is great. And a couple t-shirts, and all that sounds like I'm bragging, but I'm not, because right here are 2 stacks, I believe, of 100 coupons for 60% off shipping for all the Proper Royals people out there. I got to figure out how to get these out there to you all. I'll definitely have them at shows. If you come see me, if you buy a snake from me, I will send a few with you. You get 60% off of FedEx's shipping rates, just for trying out Redline shipping. In the meantime, if I don't get you one of these coupons, you can use the promo code PROPER5. Get yourself $5 off your next shipping label. Check out Redline shipping. They're doing it really well, and they take good care of your boy here. There we go. And in a last-ditch effort to pay some bills and to make some sales, I got 2 really killer snakes that I unveiled yesterday. I picked them up in a big collection that I bought back on Black Friday weekend, when everybody was wheeling and dealing and we had some cash in our pockets. And one is going to stay, one is going to go. They're both bangers, but I can't keep both of them, much to the chagrin of everybody who says I should keep everything and never sell anything. It doesn't work for me, so I'm going to sell one of them. I'm offering them both. I think I could say what I'm selling them for on YouTube. We're allowed to talk like things for sale on YouTube, right? Just not. Is it? So it's Google's cool with it, Meta not cool with it.
Yeah, Meta's no. Meta's no.
Meta's no for sure.
That's why you have to be like 1 to 100. You know, hundo, or you have to.
Yeah, you got to say hundo. You got yeah.
Ready to fly, not ready to sell or for sale. Ready to
I don't
fly.
even use the word available anymore on Instagram and Facebook. Man, I might put a little picture of an airplane, but that's the closest I'll get to saying something's for sale. But just assume not everything I put up there is for sale, but if you assume it is, like, I'll at least tell you if it's, I'll tell you no if it's not. But anyway, I got 2 just banging snakes for sale right now. One will stay, one will go. So first one to sell, then the other one stays with me. One is a male, is a super mahogany cinnamon, dark, like nearly black snake, nice brown, dark, deep brown, rich brown on the back. That's on Instagram. And then the other is a this could be a good combo for your super asphalt boy you were talking about. I got a female super gravel Enchi, and they're both on live and doing well. So $17.50 shipped is what I'm asking for each of those. I'll keep one, I'll sell one. So there you go. Get in touch with me. They're not on Morph Market yet. If this little pitch doesn't work and the Instagram pitch doesn't work, then they'll go to Morph Market later this week. So there we go. We'll go to the second second third of the show. We'll see how long we go. What are some of the things that you feel like you did really, really well getting in place? You talked some about an ultrasound. It sounds like you have some new business model cooking up. Is it a project? Is it a business model? Is it a whole new venture into dry goods? I don't know. Like, I know you want to keep it under wraps. I'm not asking for a big reveal, but like, what's the direction your mind works in is really what I'm asking.
Projects, plural.
Projects, yeah.
Cool.
Acquisitions.
Yeah,
more investment into the future, long future, near future.
Oh, like it could be immediate.
Yeah, it could be.
Like,
good for you.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of stuff. I'm trying to figure out the best way to say it.
No, it's just a
project. No, you got to save it for your epic content for when you do videos. Yeah. All right. So before now, then, what are some of the things that you were really pleased with that you thought were good moves that you felt were good building blocks to get in place?
Buying a lot. Technically, I bought a lot of females up front. At the first go.
Yeah, good ratio.
Yeah, it was like two males to 10 females at the time.
Wow. Okay.
And one was like just like a hatchling, so that it was really just because I bought breeder size stuff, like just basic breeder size stuff, just to practice. But yeah, just getting females first, obviously that was a good thing. I guess finding like mentors and people to get advice off of.
Yeah, it's important to find a good, trustworthy mentor.
Yes.
Who were some of the people for you, or is there a specific person, or who were some of the good people that looked out for you? Because I think that's a huge point. I agree with you.
I would say at first we originally we were in the Patreons of Billy, and then through the Patreon we actually found Chris Davenport, the Florida Rattery, D Exotics, where we get our like cocoa. Like that's where we found like everything. So Chris has given us like probably the best advice and the most help. It's actually being so local. Like we've been over his house hundreds of times.
Yep.
Like I bought several snakes from him. Just great guy, always great advice. And then I've also was in Anton's Patreon too, High Desert.
Cool.
So,
yeah.
So those were definitely.
How early on did you join? Like which one did you join first, Billy's or Anton's?
Billy's.
Billy, yeah.
Billy's. So like how many snakes did you have when you joined Billy's Patreon?
4?
No, I think like 8.
8. Oh yeah, it was like the first buy.
So early on.
Yeah.
So probably like May of 2021.
So yeah, we had 8 snakes when we bought our ultrasound.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, when I had 8 snakes, I was not ultrasounding or in Billy's. I was like, I just got a female blue-eyed Lucy. Like that was an amazing. I remember how excited I was when I got that snake. I've long since sold her, but I was like, wow, I did it. So you guys set out to be breeders from the start, then, essentially.
Yes, that was definitely the goal.
Yeah, we got those first 8 out one show. We went to one show and picked up 8 snakes.
Yeah. It was actually the Fire Expo.
Stuff at home or not? Or was it just a total impulse?
Oh, he had already built the racks. We were already ready to go. We had the DIY racks already built. We built them in like October, November, and then April was when we got them.
Gotcha.
Snakes. So yeah, we were ready for growth.
Yes.
I gotcha. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep up with some of the chat.
Yeah, something happened with Ken.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. This is a huge shout out to Ken. I've got a table to vend it. March Tinley, like great job, Ken. Ken is a super cool dude, and just if anybody's in the market for some high end snakes, his clown pieds single-handedly, no joke about snakes having no hands, single-handedly convinced me that a clown pied project was absolutely not only worthwhile but like incredible kind of thing. So yeah, nice job, Ken. And I can't believe I did this. Chris at BNS Reptilia deserves a huge shout out. He there sponsors the show as well, and I got all fired up over REDLINE sending me forceps today. Chris is awesome. Definitely ball pythons, colubrids, boas. I don't even know what some of this means. I think they say boas have like geographical locations, and Chris has a bunch of those. And then blood pythons as well, plus a whole bunch of reptile knowledge, full-time breeder, and an amazing dude. And you all talking about Coco, he is the Pennsylvania distributor for the chipper as well. Give him a shot, give him your business. He's been very, very good to me. And again, somebody I've done business with in the past before I slapped his logo up top. So I'm pretty pumped about Chris. He's a good dude. The other thing in the chat, somebody was talking about, I think Jason was talking about camera video, but I'm not sure if that was about me or not. Anyhow, the camera that I use is down in the description down below. I believe it's a Canon M50 is what it's called, but there's a link to it down below if that will help or not. I'm not sure what the context was, if that was about me or not. It's hard, like keeping a conversation, keeping up with the chat, and trying to make sure there's not dead space, and that you're keeping up with like, an entertaining show. So, all right. So Billy and Antoine's Patreons. Whose Patreons do you all use now? Anybody still?
Do we have anybody
No.
now? Nobody's now.
Nobody's now. Where was the point that like, and not to like call out Billy or Antoine, but like where was the point in your own development, regardless of them, where you were like, I'm probably not getting as much out of this anymore?
2 weeks ago?
Yeah. We were just compiling our tax information, and we're like, are we getting what we need? But then it's like, we might actually just rejoin.
Yeah.
We just have to assess and decide what tier we want to be at on Patreons and what we want to do.
Yeah, definitely have to relook at it. But I really do find like all their Patreons, both of those were good, great community. I just really, we left them just to rethink about
Reassess.
everything, you know, because we have some things coming, and it's like, they're not much, the Patreons, but it was like, it's still like $100 a month. So it's like,
Yeah, I think it's important. I think assessing what's advancing you and what's not, but also maybe what's for fun. And fun's allowed. Like we can have fun too. That's cool. But like how much gets devoted to what's advancing you and how much gets devoted to fun or to other things. And I think reassessing that, because those barriers creep over time. You get used to something, or it's like all the, I don't know about you, but like for me and Kelly, it's our streaming subscriptions. Man, I look at those once a year and I'm like, okay, 2 out of these 8 are going in the garbage. They are out. I don't care which. We're getting rid of them now. Kind of.
Anytime I talk about cutting costs, this guy's like, family meeting. Netflix is gone.
Netflix
We
is
don't
gone
need it.
now. I'll tell you that much.
All you do is watch Pokemon. We don't need it.
Right?
See, I'm a Netflix guy. I like Netflix. I'm all right with Netflix. Anyway, but no, I think that's important to do. So, well, that'll be interesting. Like, I was going to say the next time we talk, but I'll see y'all in like 10 days. But over time, I would be interested to see what, because time gives us clarity. So I'd be interested to see, as you look back, saying, yeah, it turns out we were getting a whole lot from those Patreons, or it was fun. It was something to be a part of. It felt like we were in the mix, but don't really need it anymore. And I'm particularly interested because I do want to pursue a Patreon, but I've always had, I talk about it all the time. I've always had this fear of, I don't want the cult of Adam. I don't need that. I want, if I'm providing value to somebody, great. If not, they should apply their money somewhere else. I don't want to take people's money if I'm not bringing them values, is really what I mean.
Yeah.
Right, because then they'll just feel dirty.
Is what?
They'll just feel dirty if you're just taking people's money and not even giving them, like. Yeah,
it does. But I also I realize there's something to that. They're like, I use the example, like and I saw some guys talking about guitars in the chat earlier. We could talk guitars anytime. And you guys can email me, DM me, or whatever the things are now, direct message, on guitars. But for example, if for $30 a month, I could be on a Zoom direct call with Slash, I would pay it in a second. Am I ever going to learn how to play the solo to Welcome to the Jungle? No, I'm not. And I'm just not going to be good enough to do it. But I would do that because I'm like that big of a fanboy kind of thing, or any number of other people. So I get that portion of it. I get that access to the person is valuable that way, and it's fun.
Oh yeah, if I could talk to Peyton Manning, if I could get on his Patreon, just chat with him,
Okay.
heck yeah, take my money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So there's that aspect. I don't think I have that. And if I did, I would feel weird. Like it just wouldn't be up my alley. That's just not me. But I realize that that's a skill that can be learned and can be leveraged. And I don't knock people for it. But figuring out what value I could bring to somebody, it was really the piece that I had to sit down and really think heavily about. But then, I like asking people that do use Patreon, because a lot of people are like, yeah, I don't really care. It's cool to get a t-shirt and we get to hang out in the community. And sometimes that person's there and sometimes they're not. And I'm like, this is maybe really shooting a hole in my Patreon vision. So I don't know. I'm figuring, I'm like poking around, trying things out,
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, Patreon. I don't know.
We just found out about like another one that we might be joining today.
Oh yeah. There's somebody else who's coming out with a Patreon. I don't know if you heard.
Yeah,
I did. That's why I didn't unveil mine today. I was like, yeah, maybe today will be the day. I got the live tonight. Maybe I'll just like, maybe today will be the day. I was like, no, can't compete with him.
That was exciting though. I was like,
yeah. Okay, so perfect case in point. And I have not dug into this whatsoever. I watched about 45 seconds of his announcement. So for those in the audience who don't know, we're talking about Garrick DeMeyer. Garrick says, and correct me along the way, Jeremy and Holly, but Garrick says, hey guys, big announcement, celebrating, it's 2023, and I've been breeding professionally for 23 years, and I'm going to give away one snake a week for the rest of the year. Going to give away $50,000 in snakes, and to be eligible, all you got to do is join my Patreon. So to me, that's a different value than what I want to bring. I probably have $50,000 worth of snakes, but I'm not giving them away. That's not going to happen. So that's a different angle. Like, that's his sales pitch on that. But he didn't say, hey, you get me one-on-one, or you get this small group that I'm willing to be very active with, or a mentor with. So it's just different ways. I think we've got to try different things. That's all.
Yeah, well, on his, like, I didn't like go in depth of his Patreon, but I want to say there's definitely different tiers. And I want to say there is like maybe like group chat, I think it was called in that one, but like he does have like the meetups and stuff like that. I think I could be wrong, but I did a quick 5-second glimpse of it. I was like, okay, let's see how much it is, just because I got the email.
Yeah. So like I said, I did not dig in. How much? What are some of like the more details? What's the price? What's the other like perks? Entered in the contest.
Don't quote 35 and 45.
Okay.
And the 45 is how you get entered into the weekly drawing. I think it's 45. The 45 is once a year he will fly you out for a VIP tour of his facility, and you get to hang out and do Garrick DeMeyer stuff for like a weekend, and that he pays for, like
for $45 a month.
Yeah, I want to say it was $45 a month.
I'm looking it up.
She's got the details.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, that's pretty good value. I mean, a plane flight to Wisconsin to hang out, that's worth $450 or whatever, what would it come to, $50, $540, something like that.
And then it's I want to say 10% off like t-shirts and 15% off of snakes. But Holly's gonna get the exact answers.
Okay. Yeah, and a couple of people mentioned in the chat too. Yeah, Garrick is, what are all the goofy expressions? Salt of the earth. I mean, that guy is absolutely outstanding. He's been on my show before. He's really, really cool, down to earth. And matter of fact, like, I geeked out yesterday because he shared my reel in his story yesterday. I was like, yeah, take screenshots of that, get a hold of it, kind of thing.
He followed us today.
As soon as you put up that post, he liked it, and then he followed us. I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, he's just looking at everybody up. He's like, all these people, they're going to join my Patreon. I'm going to like them. No, but he's a very good dude, and he is a wealth of knowledge and very giving for like I say, for him to want to come on my show, and he's like a 2-man operation with thousands of snakes, So what's in the details there, Holly? What's he got?
It's $40 for the tier that gets you in the drawing to visit him.
$40.
Oh, it's a drawing.
Chance.
You have a chance. So you're saying it's a chance. I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was like, man, that might, I might pony up some money for that. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. So you get a chance to do that, but when you're there, you get to shoot a video with him.
That's cool.
In the YouTube video. So that would help.
What about the other perks?
A monthly interactive video conference with him. It's a group open conversation.
So yeah, you got that group chat.
10% discount on t-shirts, 15% on purchases of ball pythons. So 15% off.
Yeah. And so, but he's not doing the build your bank kind of thing.
I don't see that.
No,
Is
I
it
don't
up top one?
I don't see that.
Because that's like the best. I will say that always evolving. Bank your membership. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
definitely on mine that I formulated. It definitely has that component to it. which I had to get my head around. That's an interesting conversation in and of itself, but I don't know that that's what we need to dive into. But that's an interesting business discussion of like, you got to put the work in somewhere selling these animals. So do you put it into Patreon to attract people to build their bank that you know they're going to spend with you? And if they don't, you just get the money anyhow. So that's kind of a win-win. Or is that a trade-off to like, should I be doing this or whatever other marketing, ventures that you chase after? Speaking of marketing pursuits, what have you decided, or do you have what'll be your kind of your marketing avenue, or is it just going to be produce the most amazing snakes that we can and put them out there? What's your model on that, or is it have you thought much about that?
The marketer.
Yeah, just Instagram is where it's going to be at. And then if we have something epic, obviously we'll do a video on YouTube. And yeah, just what is going on back there?
Oh,
yeah, and then
going crazy.
The snake moving around.
A little rumble in the tubs back there.
Something going on back there.
Little bit.
We are on egg watch right now.
Oh, nice, lucky.
That's, yes, can't wait.
Cool.
Got this.
But yeah, just marketing them on good pictures on Instagram.
Yeah, definitely.
Shows. A
Yeah.
show a month is the goal.
I was going to say, so yeah, we had talked some about that offline behind the scenes. What are some of are you focusing strictly in Florida? Have you ventured out of Florida on the thoughts for shows or plans?
Just Florida, because honestly, every month there's a Florida show around us.
Yeah.
For the most part.
For now. Maybe next year.
Yeah, maybe next year we'll go out to further things, but depends on just how our year goes. But yeah, right now we're within 2 hours of like Orlando, Miami, Tampa. Then we have West Palm right by us, an hour. Fort Pierce, they do a show, but Sarasota, like we're within.
We're in
everything.
the middle of nowhere, but we're surrounded by everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe it's not been long enough. Have you had any like residual follow-ups or purchases from that Orlando show? When did we do we did Orlando the January 21st to 22nd. So only like 3 weeks ago, but have you had any follow-up from that from anybody?
No. I'll be honest. No.
Not yet.
We sold one snake at Orlando. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
More than I thought we were going to do. And freaking sold a breeder pastel male. It's like, yes,
I missed it.
And you guys were moving some cocoa and merch too. Your merch was pretty well received, I gotta say.
Yeah. People like we got hats and
shirts and hats.
I'm really loving this like red.
We got hats
and that green shirt. But yeah, we were selling cocoa.
Where's the camera? There we go.
Here it is.
Old person. I don't know where the camera is.
But yeah, no, we're doing cocoa now. So trying to just draw, like, I'm not trying to get rich off of cocoa or anything like that. So I have the cocoa on the table, just getting people to the table. Honestly, just more ways to get people to stop by, and just even looking is I think a good plan.
I think that's a very good point. However you do it, however you sort of get them in the door, so to speak, I think is, for anybody listening, I think it's really valuable. It's something I ask myself a lot too, because we know you go to a reptile show, you're overrun with ball python breeders. There's a million of us, and we all got killer looking stuff. And the stuff that isn't killer looking is loaded with hets. That's like a whole new language that, like, if you're like the cool show attendee, you can speak het, and otherwise you're dealing with the kids. So yeah, how you attract people to your booth other than just the snakes, I think, is important. And it's harder for people like us that, like, Orlando was my second show ever, and I think it was
our first. Yeah,
very early on for you all. So, but the reason I asked that, I had a really I've had two significant follow-up interactions. I did a show in Jacksonville the week before we were in Orlando together, and I sold a grandmother a $75 Enchi female, and we've had many chats about how to get this thing to eat a frozen thawed rat. And it's a lot of work for $75. And I'm telling myself it's good for the community. It's good. And this is in my backyard. Like, this isn't like another town I traveled to. So I think it's vitally important to, like, really, I always want to show well, but absolutely show well here in Jacksonville. So there's that. I don't know if the snake is eaten yet, but we'll see. I'll know very soon. She'll get in touch with me shortly, I'm sure. And then the other one was actually Super Bowl night, out of the blue. And at that Jacksonville show, all I sold was that one end sheet, and maybe it was $100. I don't know whatever it was. It was a tiny amount. Another guy messaged me during the Super Bowl, and he goes, "Hey, I don't know if you remember me from the Jacksonville show or not, but I was in Ball Pythons and I got out like 10 years ago. The stuff that's going on is amazing. I want to get back in, and my budget's $2,000. Can you help me out?" Yes, I can. Let's talk, my dear friend. And it was really funny because I have an extra rack over here that I was flirting with selling, and we had it all worked out. I was even going to deliver it to him like today, kind of thing. Oh, I should have it queued up. I don't. I would love to read you this instant message or the direct message the next morning. He goes, 7:15. He goes, "Sorry to wake you, buddy. I clearly had too much to drink last night. I'm not allowed to have snakes in my apartment. There's no way that I can buy that rack that'll hold 38 snakes from you." I'm like,
that hurts.
It hurts. But it's a little proof of concept that 3 weeks later, in his, because alcohol keeps you pretty honest, in his honest haze, he goes, "The dude in the chef coat, Proper Royals, I'm going to call him and make a fake plan to buy a rack from him." And it actually, all joking aside, because that dude is cool. He's probably watching now, and he's probably like, "That jerk. He's not a jerk. I'm not a jerk." It means that I did make that connection. It means that those shows do have value, and that it's worth, even if we don't sell a fortune, it's worth getting out there and marketing and branding ourselves in a positive way that way.
Exactly. People seeing your face, putting a face to a logo, and just knowing you're a real person is always a great thing. Even if you don't do anything, it's just people seeing you. It's always a good option, in my opinion, getting out there.
I think so too. And I think however we can, you never know how, like, the shows are great for trying things. It's almost like you have nothing to lose. Either we could stand there in silence and do nothing, or we could figure out how to engage people. And it's really awkward. Like, I felt like I was the kid at the dance that doesn't have the guts to even talk to a girl, much less, I don't know how to dance and I don't like to dance. So what am I going to say if she says yes? Like, this is all terrifying. And that's how the shows felt. But you do it, you get out there and you get a little bit better at it. You get the practice and the reps, and Orlando was really, that weekend was really good for me, especially on the heels of the crappy Jacksonville one. So, like, I'm eager. I want to get back at it. I'm ready. I wish I could I can't make Tampa to Vend. I got that gig the next day, but I'll be at Tampa hanging out anyway.
Very nice. Very nice. And we'll be there with some cocoa and snakes.
Cocoa and snakes. How many tables did you get? One or two?
One. They just sent me an email like, "Hey," because I requested, I was like, "If you get a second table, can I get it?" They just sent me an email like, "Hey, you want that second table?"
Yeah.
I just got it like before the show. So I haven't quite decided yet.
Okay.
Because it would move us.
It would move us, because currently we are so Jeremy, we're right around, we're on the side of Jeremy Bald. Yeah. We're
cool.
One of his side tables. So but then if we get the two tables, are like, it's gonna put you in the back of the room.
Put baby in the corner.
So it's like, do I go in the back of the room and just but then I'd have more room for cocoa and things like that? Or do I just
win some, you lose some?
Take the spot I have. So,
it's a gamble.
Yeah, I don't know enough about. I'm not the guy to ask about show experience. I will be, but I'm not the guy right now.
And it's in a different building this time too. So we had it all planned out. I was in the normal Tampa building, but a couple weeks ago they sent out an email like, "Hey, they booked us in a different building, so we had to reorganize all the rooms." So I have to look at the graph of what the room looks like before I even decide to, because like, what is the back of here? Is it somewhere nobody's even going to go to, or Is it gonna be
The
fine?
back might be cool because it's less rushed. Maybe people would stop longer. I don't know.
Or they just don't walk by that way because it's in the back and they don't know it because it's in a new building.
Yeah, I don't know. The Tampa show to me, in my experience, not from vending, from going to, well, some vending for, I've only vended it as a guest for Dale. That show always felt really like, I don't mean serious as in not fun. I mean like legit, like the customers that we want as like breeders and collector snakes, not pet snakes. That show always felt the most legit to me. Now, it could be that I was just standing behind Dale's table, who has, firepower for days. Everything feels good when you're standing there, right?
Acid all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got your acid here, you got, and then not to mention he shares the space with George MD, who's just loaded as well. So I don't know. I could be wrong, but it always felt really, like I say, just the most legitimate, even more so than the Orlando show, in my opinion. Now, again, that could be that maybe I was just that's the difference between my table and Dale's table. I don't know. We'll see. But I would be optimistic that if you had goods that you could fill 2 tables with, when I say it feels serious, I think everybody works the room pretty methodically, kind of thing, rather than just like kids, bounding everywhere, bouncing all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 2 tables is always, again, if you can get 2 tables is the way to go. Every vendor has told me that when we started. That's like why we bought 2 tablecloths just off the rip. Even before I decided to sell Coco, I was always going to have 2 tables because everybody was always like, get 2 tables. 1 table is going to be crowded. You want to have 2. Like Steve's Morphs, Jeremy, a few others have told me, like, just try to get 2.
That's what everybody says. I don't feel like I have enough stuff. I felt like my one table was nice. I liked it. I have two displays that lets me bring 28 snakes. I don't have merch. I don't have, actually the only stickers I have are REDLINE shipping stickers. Come get your REDLINE shipping stickers at my booth.
Oh yeah, we're out of stickers.
Dude, your stickers were like, yeah, they were gone. Like kids were, I was like, oh my gosh. And one of my faults is that I naturally equate everything to a financial equation. So I'm like,
that's what I said.
I'm like, nope, there's overhead out the door, and these kids are going to be playing Frisbee with it in the parking lot,
Yep.
I don't think that's accurate, but that's what's in my head. That's my story I tell myself. So I haven't bought any. Maybe I should.
We didn't buy any more because
no. Okay, so you didn't buy any more. How about then? What's your, now that you've had since you have an opinion on that? What's your opinion on your merch? Are you still bullish on merch, or you have it, so you may as well stay bullish till it's gone? What's your feeling on merch?
We almost sold out on hats, so we had to buy more hats.
Yeah, we had to buy more hats because people bought our hats out almost at the show, except for one.
Orlando?
Yeah.
Fantastic. I didn't know that. Congratulations. And they weren't, in my opinion, not cheap. What were you selling them for? 22, I think, if I recall?
I think it was 20 for the hats, and Holly did the sign wrong. It was 25 for the hat and 20 for the shirts. But it's usually supposed to be 25 for the shirt and 20 for the hat.
It's just like the best snapback.
And then if you buy both, it's both for 40 because you get to save money, right? Look at that.
Yeah.
Make deals. That's all I try to do. I just try to think of deals.
I love a good hat.
For me, I always go back to like this, like I said, I have a little bit of this imposter syndrome thing. I'm like, okay, of all the people out there, why are they going to wear Proper Royal stuff? Because I'll tell you, my shirt, if I make a shirt, is going to be a black t-shirt with my logo. I suck at design. I suck at like fashion. Like,
I like the cork hat. I really do.
No, it's great. Like in a million years, I would have never dreamt up that. And if I saw it on paper, I'd be like, what a dumb idea. And it's brilliant. It's fantastic. Like, that's my point. I'm not the guy that should be screwing around with merch. And you don't have to share your margins, but I think most clothing retail, you're doing well if you can if you can mark it up 100%. I know it sounds greedy, but if I sell something, I want to be marking it up like, I hate to say it, like 300%. Like that's the food game. Like
yeah.
If I buy a can of beer for 84 cents from the distributor, it's still going to be, $3.50. And if it's an import, it's going to be $4.50.
No, it's about About $5 for the hats and about $6 for the shirts.
Oh, good for you. So you are in that triple. And yeah, okay. That's cool. Wow.
Yep.
There's some transparent content for people. Oh, thank you. Okay. That's cool. Well, now I'm rethinking it then. Maybe now I want to know where you got your hats and stuff from. Maybe I need to.
Oh, no. Like we marked them up $5.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I thought you were saying you're buying them for $5 and $6.
Oh,
I'm like, oh yeah, get me in the merch game.
$5.
I would be inspired on design. I was like, wow, I did not realize that.
No, I honestly, I try to just like when I sell something, like Holly hates me for this. I don't try to get rich with things. I sell my shirts. I'm trying to sell them at, I think, a reasonable price just to kind of get it out there, show off. Like the more people that have my stuff is basically free advertisement.
Because we put the QR code on the back so you can get to our link tree and then find our morph market.
Yeah. See, I'm not good at thinking of those like multi-level, like I'm looking at the spreadsheet going, this is what's going to, this is Billy's even Bill. So Bill, welcome, Billy. You're a legend. And I'm really like humbled that you're here. You've done so much for our industry and my own drive in this industry. And that's not BS. First thing Billy sees is Adam going, and he goes, "You can't buy hats that cheap, you dumb American. Like, that's not going to work that way." Like, he didn't call me a dumb American. I did that.
He just thought it.
Well, and Billy, my mother's from Guelph, so we can be close that way. That Guelph is right outside of Billy's back door. No, I don't think far enough ahead on the value of, okay, I don't make that much, but 5 people see somebody else wearing a shirt that they love, and then they go, oh, what is that? Or they click a QR code or things like that. I really, really suck at that, which is ironic because that's really the value of YouTube. Hey, we put out good content and other people comment on it. I bring on guests, and you guys, thankfully, I appreciate it. You repost the thumbnail and blah, blah, blah. So it's that same mentality, though, on there, and you get to make a little bit of money at it.
Yeah. And also, like, I'd like to just throw in a shirt, buy a snake, and then we'll just throw it in if it's,
Yeah.
Not a $50 snake, though.
That's always the worst.
Right. Yeah. I don't know what the bottom line is, but it's more than than the pastel over there, right?
Yes,
Right.
yes. But yeah, just try and get out there. That's all that it is. Like, I think it's a good people. I don't know, because these shirts are comfy. So like, I try to like get something that's nice that people want to wear. And again, just billboards, walking billboards.
And we get a lot of compliments on our name. So if our name is right there,
yes,
people will see Snakes for the Memories. I love that. And then they'll follow us. And then that's just one more person that remembers us just because our name.
I think it's fantastic. I think there's like 3 tiers of names. And I put yours at the top. The first tier is like, A and, well, this probably exists. I won't say it. My wife's name is Kelly. So it'd be like K and A morphs. Like, okay, it's out there, but how are you going to stand out? How are you going to be memorable? And then there's a name like mine, Properroyals. I know why it's valuable to me, and I know nobody else will ever have it. But beyond that, does the audience really have a clue what I'm talking about? Maybe, maybe not. Like, I have my own story in my head.
It's a sweet logo.
What's that?
I love your logo.
Oh, thank you. I got like really lucky. The guy that does my tour posters, I called him up, and he was like, "You're doing what?" And I was like, and he's like, "It's called what?" He's like, "And that means snakes." I'm like, "Kind of. I just need you to just come up with something for me, man.
Trust me. Do it.
Yeah, it's like, look, I'm paying you, man. Like, I don't know. Like, what does Led Zeppelin mean? I don't know. Just Properroyals, man. It's just what it is. That's what it means. And that's what he came up with. It was really good. But then there's yours that is it's catchy, it's witty, it's memorable. Things I like yours. I like Pride and Joy. I think is brilliant.
I love that.
Hets and tails. You're always these things. You're gonna remember these, and that like it's cool, and it's really hard. Like, good names are taken. Like, go through Instagram. There's tens of thousands of us. Like, to come up with something original that's not taken is really, really cool. So Nice job on that. I think your name is very good.
Yeah, I thought of it, and then
Oh,
I was like, this has to be taken right. Somebody has thought of this before me. And I was like, nope. Oh yeah, lock it in. Get that domain. Get everything.
Yes.
Brandon says, you're motivating me to use some reptile drawings to make some shirts. Also something I've been planning on doing. Brandon, do you draw your own? And by the way, I think you should if you feel motivated. I can't say if you should do it financially or not, but I am a big believer that if somebody's passionate about something, they should do something. And I think Brandon is one of the smartest dudes in our industry. So I like him a lot. What else, guys? What else we got to cover tonight? What do you want to talk about?
Whatever you want, man. It's your show.
Yeah, it's just Valentine's Day. Let's
Yeah.
go. What are we talking about?
Well, I know. I brought.
Can't talk about movies.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, we're not going to talk about movies. I'm out of
We're
Ewok.
not talking about taxes.
Yeah, I'm done with that. So, all right. So, if you want to talk about it, where will what's the definition for you of what? I don't want to say success because we all want to be millionaires and rock stars and whatnot, but what will the viable proof be for you? And I know we go through a million little proofs of concept. We go, for me, I went through, I can breed. I can do a YouTube show. I can vend. I can make money selling these. I've done all these tiny little proofs of concept. What's the timeline and what will like success look like for you, or initial success where you say, yeah, this is good. This is not a fool's errand here.
That's deep.
I'd have to say probably when we start making money, return on investment, and I'm not contributing from my work, and it's like self-sustaining kind of.
When this starts to pay for
Right.
everything, pays for the rats, pays, to buy new projects or buy new things,
new racks, new
upgrading
everything.
incubators, things like that. When this starts paying for it,
starts
I think that'd
rolling
be
into
success.
itself. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's awesome. I have thought a lot about that myself, and we have this like what's the question everybody asks? Well, when are you going to get your money back from it, right? That's not exactly how business always works. And I think that's the difference between understanding cash flow and understanding profitability and return on investment. So how did I explain it to myself and other people that ask me? I use the example of a rental property. Much like maybe you or I did, you plop down a chunk of money up front. And some people tell you don't have to put anything down. Let's just say it's a little more traditional than that. You put your money down, and it's a lot of money. Let's say for a house, it's $100,000. And then for however many years you collect rent, and each month, ideally, you're collecting more rent than what your mortgage payment is. Everybody in their right mind would agree that's a good business and that's profitable.
Yep.
When we talk about snakes, people go, well, yeah, when are you going to get your $100,000 back? Nobody says that about a house. Everybody understands it has equity and it has value, and that's an asset that you're going to make money on.
Exactly.
When do I get my money back on that? As long as they don't die and I can sell them later, or they're making babies, I'm going to get my money back on it. So, Holly, I think you nailed it when you said when there's enough coming in to make it self-sustaining, that's the rent model. As long as the rent is covering the mortgage and the insurance and, the lawn, then it's profitable and you're building value with it. Nobody questions that. But God forbid you mention that with snakes and they're like, no, when are you going to get your money out? I'm like,
yeah, no.
When do you get out of any business?
Non-snake people don't get it at all.
Well, I'll be honest with you though, it's non-business people that don't. And that all comes back to that business education that none of us seem to get, or it seems to be the secret that they withhold from you for however,
Right.
Right. Restaurants 25 years. We can tell him, we can let him in on this secret now. Like, God,
figure it out, peasants.
Anyway, well, look, I wish you two the very best. I seriously, I really enjoyed vending next to you. I can't wait to see you you know, when you play music, there's like a show circuit and you run into cool people at different places and you run into jerks at different places. I'm sure there's that way with the ball pythons too, but you all are in the cool circle. And I really,
First time ever?
No, it would be a blast to be next to you again. It would be a blast to, you know, get some experience under our belts together. I think having like our own, like, say our own group or our own clique, but like our own generation, you know, like there's people that will chase after, but that will probably never be on their level at the same time as them. But one day I could be on their level on our own. And there's us giving each other fist bumps, like being like, hey, you remember that Orlando show?
Yeah.
That sucked. You sold a pastel and a hat, man. And now look where we're at. You know, those are like I feel like we're in the stage where we're like getting our high school band together and we're going to play a garage party. Like, all right, it's our next big gig. We're on our way, you know, it's going to happen for you all. And I, you know, I really appreciate it. I appreciate you being on the show and being so forthright. Audience, yeah, my pleasure. Seriously, it was. I really look forward to this every week. Audience, next week we have Sam and Phil from Powerline Reptiles up in North Carolina. They will be on. Go check out Holly and Jeremy in Tampa, the 25th Repticon, 25th and 26th. Yep. And then the next weekend we're together in Lakeland, right? At the Fire Expo.
Back-to-back
4th
shows.
and 5th of March.
Woo.
Yeah, you guys got that back-to-back, and then I got the one after. I'll be in Jacksonville the following weekend at the Repticon up here that following weekend. So, hey, I look forward to seeing you there in Lakeland. Really, I'll see you in Tampa too. I'll pop in on Saturday. I'll be there. Best of luck to you all, and guys, show some love and support for Holly and Jeremy. Go check them out on Instagram. Down below, all their links are in their LinkTree. Thank you for having a LinkTree. I don't have to put 9 links. Just click LinkTree. It's efficient. Everybody should have LinkTree.
It is.
I'm not affiliated with LinkTree. Thanks to the sponsors, Redline, Cold Blooded, BNS Reptilia. Thank you all. And Billy, thanks for hanging out, man. I really appreciate it. Everybody send Billy IG messages that he should come on the show. I'd love to have you, Billy. Thanks, everybody. Holly and Jeremy, stick around. I'm going to hit the music here, and I'll see y'all next week. Same place, same time. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Bye.